Go.
Hello, panel. Today we're talking about how MediCrystals can accomplish the goal of spearheading the cure for COVID-19. Starting off with the executive summary.
The problem. MediCrystals has to supply pharmaglass products for the packaging of 2 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines as demand for vaccination increases. This project specifies 3 high-level goals, which are to perform a supply risk evaluation, understand working capital and inventory impact at the glasswork location, and evaluate capacity constraint at the Fabricadas location.
We will also be going more in depth about the proposed solutions for each of the following categories.
To assess the risks associated with MediCrystal suppliers, we categorize the risk metrics into 4 different buckets. And according to the order that would best fulfill MediCrystal's contracts, each bucket is then given a weighted average. Financials being 40%, operations being 30%, technology security 20%, and regulation being 10%. Each risk factor is then given a classification and numerical value. Based on our risk scoring methodology, we found Bestoglass, Plaxian, Vorvidro, and Real Glass to be the suppliers that pose the most risk, making only 2/3 of all suppliers low risk. Commonly, we found that these suppliers to have a low operating cash flow to revenue ratio, low credit rating, being single source, and having no IP protection. Some next steps would include making a benchmark of the potential suppliers before entering a partnership, and enforcing a stricter regulation of risk factors on current suppliers.
Next, we'll be speaking about the potential obsolete inventory and reaching the 95% service level. So to reach the 95% service level, we'll be implementing a replenishment strategy, utilizing the formulas provided for the minimum and maximum quantity. And through that, we were able to find out that there were 8 million units required for us to meet current demand. And although consumption has been increased, about 1.14% of obsolete inventory actually accounts for about $260,000. And we also did an ABC analysis categorizing inventory into 3 subgroups for better visibility and viewing critical cost areas attributing to changes within net working capital.
Moving forward with net working capital, we understand that that is current assets minus current liabilities. So for the change in working capital, we understand that to be 95.8 million from the purchase of new assets, as well as the selling off of obsolete inventory. Adding that to the 46 million retained from the previous year's assets, finalized in 141.8 million of total working capital. And with a brief finding that selling off some of the liabilities can recuperate some of the costs and avoid holding costs as well.
So moving forward with the capacity constraint, after analyzing the information provided, we actually found that there were an unorganized way of planning production that can attribute to the high defect level. And we also found that the defect level actually accounts for 30% plus of overall production. And moving forward, we want to implement a more optimized production plan, reaching a more level demand and reprioritizing the products.
Using OEE, we were able to holistically identify an abnormal high defect level. Example, Forming 2 had the lowest EE due to its high defect level attributing to the quality factor. In addition, there is a high unexpected downtime attributing to the performance factor. Based on the analysis, we identified a lack of unorganized maintenance plan, leading to a TPM implementation strategy with the goal to improve productivity by reducing downtime. We recommend a proactive approach by adopting the pilot TPM program strategy to resolve the pilot areas easiest to improve, the most problematic, as well as the constraint/bottleneck.
Moving forward, we'll be utilizing this timeline to keep track of our goals and understanding of the stakeholder needs and goals. And we approximately need about 3 quarters to accomplish these goals and carry out the solutions.
Moving forward with the findings, we do find that in each of the locations for the supplier risk evaluation, these are the most risky suppliers, as well as new domains to identify risk. And then finally, where that risk is coming from. For glasswork, it's the change in working capital, as well as the potential obsolete inventory. Lastly, with Fabricadas, it's the current capacity constraint that's being caused from the high defect level, as well as the VP of operations and the plant manager disagreeing over the unexpected downtime that's happening and causing a disagreement. Finishing off with recommendations for the supplier risk evaluation, we recommend using a risk scoring matrix, benchmarking future partnerships, enforcing stricter regulation on suppliers. For glasswork, it's calculating safety stock, selling off obsolete inventory, For Fabricatus location, that's implementing TPM, OEE scoring, and then finally reorganizing the manufacturing process. Thank you so much.